Hi, everybody. My name is Dave Mayer. I'm the CEO and founder of Technical Integrity, and we are here to talk about how to find a job that you genuinely love. For the past 23 years, I've been hiring for technology organizations like IBM, SAP, Oracle, and more. Specifically for the past 13 years, I've been the founder of a small organization that focuses on building engineering and executive teams for startups. My small company, Technical Integrity, focuses specifically on building these teams with an emphasis on core values, mission alignment, cultural attributes, as well as, of course, the core engineering disciplines and technical acumen needed to be successful. So after giving this talk for the better part of the past 13 years to hundreds and hundreds of candidates, I decided to memorialize this discussion around best practices in finding your dream job. Some overall context and an acknowledgement. This approach is not for everybody, and that people have to pay the bills and you have mouths to feed. Everybody's place in life is different, and so I recognize that this approach is shared with a large degree of privilege. That said, this is a time-tested approach to looking for your dream job and to looking for a job that you're going to be most happy in. So if you need to get a bar job, if you need to take some contract work to pay the bills, to afford yourself the space to find the right opportunity, then do it. This is from a longer term perspective. For you to end up in the right role, again, our sphere of influence is typically senior software engineering staff and executives. So take that for what it's worth. This is applicable for all careers regardless of stage. So take a deep breath and let's dig in. My goal is to provide some fundamentals and a foundation on finding your North Star and figuring out where you belong, and then the practicalities and the pragmatic suggestions around the search. My first and one of my most important suggestions for you is to slow down. You have to be able to listen to what your intuition is telling you. And if you're constantly being bombarded by social media or news or family or whatever it is in the background, you're not actually able to hear what's coming up for you about this transition in your career. What is your intuition telling you? Get to a place where you can tune out the noise. Go for a walk. Turn off your phone, God forbid. Listen to what's coming up for you about what's important to you at this phase in your life. Again, rushing results in bad decisions and unhappy situations. Plan on a few months at least. I recognize, again, this is coming from a place of privilege, and this is talking to senior software engineers and executives who may well have the ability to think, especially if they got laid off and they got severance, and or you just want to take some time to reflect. I acknowledge now is a hard time, but figuring out where you belong is key. Part of this is, and part of my mantra for all of these years has been, I don't give a shit who's hiring. Figure out where you belong. What will make you happiest? Some of the things to consider. What is the size of the organization that you're considering? What is the location? Is it hybrid? Is it a 4-hour work week? What type of culture are you looking for? What does collaborative culture really mean to you? What is a leadership style you're looking for? What are the values? What are the ethos of the organization? What type of funding will they have? Are they profitable? Have you asked them about work-life balance? What sort of domain are they in? Do you care? If you care, then narrow the field by saying, I'm only interested in something in climate tech, something that's mission driven. Whatever it is, it has to matter to you. A key to ending up where you belong is finding your North Star. What is it that you are going to be following in the next couple months and years that's going to be most meaningful to you? There's a couple ways to do that. The first of which is determining ikigai. Ikigai can describe having a sense of purpose in life, as well as being motivated. According to a study by Michiko Kumano, a feeling of ikigai, as described in Japanese, usually means a feeling of accomplishment and fulfillment that follows when people pursue their passions. I'll insert here the 4 concentric circles in the diagram that outlines what ikigai looks like. The 4 concentric circles are what you love, what the world needs, what you can make money doing, and what you're good at. And right in the middle of those 4 concentric circles is your ikigai. Carve out some time and dig in. Next is developing your personal why statement. Some of you might be familiar with Simon Sinek. He wrote Start With Why. You can check out his Start With Why TED Talk, which has something like 40 million views. Develop your personal why statement. He has an on-demand course that helps you develop your personal why. I believe that that will be critical in helping you determine your North Star. Separately, in a why exercise, I encourage people a bit tongue-in-cheek to act like a 4-year-old. Ask yourself why you believe what you believe. Whether you have a whiteboard at home or you create a whiteboard out of a bunch of construction paper and you put it up in your office at home, question your assumptions. Why do you believe what you believe? Why do I want a full-time versus a contract job? Why do I need a job in Colorado? Or why do I need a job in New York? Why do I want X versus Y type of job? Why do I want remote versus on-site? Small versus large? Startup versus enterprise? Slowing down and getting clear on all of this is key to ending up where you belong. Part of the exercise is also to continue walking by your why statement and your 4-year-old why exercise in the morning when you're having your coffee or your tea. And at some point, you're going to say, I have no idea why I believe that. And you're questioning your assumptions along the way, and you're getting clear. Digging into the logistics of finding a job you love. Don't worry about if they're hiring. I know that sounds a little crazy. I'm sure you can understand if a job is posted on Indeed, at least 1,000 other people are applying for that job, and you don't want to be one of a number. You want to be in front of that curve. Do your homework and get organized. This is fundamental. What do I mean by that? Search actively on an organization's website for their core values, for their mission, for their leadership. Start to look for the best companies to work for in Colorado or wherever your state is. But buyer beware, there are a handful of organizations that put out these best companies to work for lists. And if I give them $5,000, they're going to say nice things about me. So cross-reference with a number of these best companies to work for lists. Look at Glassdoor. If an organization is listed for 2 or 3 years running on a best companies to work for list in a couple different places, and they have positive reviews on Glassdoor, that's a good sign. If they have mixed reviews and Glassdoor is a total mess, then buyer beware and be safe and ask a lot of questions. It doesn't mean they should be ruled out, but you should certainly dig in on the details and ask questions of the employer about what those reviews say. The next step is treat your search as if you were in sales and you're creating a targeted list of your top 20 organizations that you're most excited about. Put them in priority order based on your homework, based on the best companies to work for, based on what your friends are saying. You can also segment them into 5 small, 5 remote, 5 large, 5 in a particular domain. It doesn't matter. But a top 20 list is a good starting point. Once you have your top 20 list and you put it in priority order, the next step is to go to Twitter. I know this is not everybody's favorite. And don't roll your eyes because it's powerful. You don't need to tweet, you just need to listen. You need to listen what's important to the organizations that you're most excited about. What the goal here is to create one column using Hootsuite or TweetDeck for the hiring manager, for the CEO, and for the organization itself. So you have 3 columns of real-time information times 20 organizations. And then all of a sudden, you've got 60 columns of real-time information, understanding what is important to these folks. If the CEO is going to speak in public, if they're going to have an open house, if they're going to have a product release, then your approach in talking to them is far more informed than it would be otherwise. What's next? Once you have your top 20 list, once you have your TweetDeck all set up with your 60 columns of information, be politely persistent. It's a key phrase that I like to use. Being politely persistent and offering to buy virtual coffees for the decision makers involved is a good start. Let them know that you can make their life easier, not that you're necessarily looking for a job. Let them know that you've done your homework, that you've dug in on their culture, on their values, on their product suite. Who are they? Perhaps you have helped an organization like theirs get off the ground and scale. Help them understand how you can make their life easier. Demonstrate that you did your homework. This is not a, hey, I'm out of work and I need a job. While ultimately the conversation can go there, be careful. This is a, I'd like to introduce myself. I've done a ton of homework. I love what you're doing and how you're doing and what you stand for. And ultimately, I'd love to learn more about you and allow me to buy you a virtual coffee. It's a much different approach. One of the next fundamental steps in landing a job that you love is building community. And yes, this is the long play, but the idea of the give first ethos is key. Give back. Lift others up without expecting a get. Bring together speakers, sponsors, create events. Everybody in the community has something to share and a way to help others. This is also, once you have ingratiated yourself in the community, in good faith, you can then bring up your top 5 or 10 organizations that you're targeting if you're asked, hey, how can I be of assistance to you? Good question. Thanks for asking. I'm actually looking for an opportunity in this realm, and my top 3 companies are X, Y, and Z. Do you happen to know anybody there? No big deal if not. Get rid of the pushy salesy in the job search, build community, bring people together, and the rest will come. I promise. We covered this briefly, but another key piece is contributing to open source software. Show your side projects. If you are really passionate about football and maybe fantasy football, then build a fantasy football app. Especially if you're going to be working in new tools or languages that you haven't been working in and you want to show that you can learn quickly, do it on your side project. Share your passions. This is a really good way because employers these days, especially in software as a service, are asking for people's GitHub profiles. So dig in. We're almost there. A couple more really important things. Focus on your well-being during the search and the things that matter in life. This obviously ties to slowing down. Focus on your mental health. This is often a long process. Prepare accordingly. Get outside. Run, hike, ski, walk. Take meetings and calls outside. Meditate. Journal. Scream at a pillow. Do what you need to do. I understand how frustrating this can be. Call a friend you haven't talked to in a while. The key here is, of course, also making sure that the role in the organizations that you are interviewing, because this is a two-way street, is that the organization also allows you the time to focus on your family, to continue to focus on the things that matter most, and focus on your mental health. Stay positive. Focus on the things that matter. Show you've done your homework. And be politely persistent. Calvin Coolidge once said, "Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful people with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent." Good luck. Please shoot me a line if you have questions at dave@technicalintegrity.com. And on Twitter, you can find us at Tintegrity or integrity with a T in front of it. And of course, technicalintegrity.com. Thanks for visiting.